Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. Charles is always daydreaming, and we're two guys that love BSing at work. No Charles today. It's just me. He might join me. I'm not sure. But we're going to do our 2.0. This is late at night. This is late Sunday night. I'm doing this, but I want to do this tonight, get up to you guys on a Monday. This is right after the combine. So this is right after the weekend that was the NFL Combine. We've seen everybody do the drills and run the 40s and do all that great stuff. And now we're in a position to evaluate. And this might be what you call an overreaction Monday type of mock draft. But there's a reason why we're going to do this. We're doing it this way because I want to show you guys the ebbs and flows of how these guys' stocks go up and down. So, for a lot of people, including myself for a long time, I wasn't really quite sure, how is it possible that, it's the off season, nobody's played a down of football, but yet somebody who was up here is now all the way down here, or somebody who's down here is all the way up here. And the combine is a big part of that. This is why I'm doing it the way I did it. I did an original mock draft. Then I'm doing this one, which is, basically after the combine mock draft. I'll do a 2.5 next Monday, which is this, except with trades. Then the 3.0, I might wait a couple weeks, see what happens in free agency, because that's another big factor in all this, right? So we'll do that. And then the next one is after the pro days. So after this one, we still have at least 2 more mock drafts before we get to the actual draft itself. Because again, this stuff matters. This is all part of the process. And this is how you guys can see, because I'm going to explain all this, right? See why these guys are rising and falling, even without playing any football. Because I used to not understand it either, but now I'm starting to understand the process and why things happen. So that's the whole point of these. Like I said, I'm not going to do these every week because I think that's a little tedious. But like I said, there's definitely major points in the drafting process that we should do these. The combine is obviously one of the biggest ones. So here we go. We're going to dive right in it, and it's gonna be crazy. I'm telling you, to me, this mock draft so far, the way I have it in my head is a tale of two different dudes. One person that really helped their stock, and one person that really didn't. So strap in. We're gonna have a good time with it, and we'll go from there. All right. So let's do this. Right off the bat, I'm gonna go Evan Neal again. I explained it last time. To me, it makes the most sense. You have Trevor Lawrence. You want to protect him. You want to make sure that he has a good O-line, you get a good offense, get him going in the right direction. To Evan Neal, still, even though he didn't partake in the combine, I still think that he's the number one guy on everybody's board in terms of offensive tackles. So he goes there. Here's a major shakeup. Here's the first major shakeup of this mock, right? And you guys are going to kill me for this. I know you are, because I used to kill people that did this. When I saw other people mock this, I said, you guys are crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no way. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. After the combine, right? Malik Willis put on the show. He showed the arm talent. He showed the upside. He showed why everybody was so high on him, right? But more importantly to me, his character and his leaderships, and what everybody was saying is he is very coachable. That's a big deal. That is a huge, huge deal. And if you're the Lion, you're sitting there, you're not going anywhere, right? Let's be real, they're going to be in a top 5 position next year as well. They're still just trying to learn how to stack up wins and be a better football team. Well, this guy's a leader. This guy's the type of guy that changes the culture and changes how a locker room feels about themselves each and every week. And that's what Dan Campbell wants to do. And I think a guy like Malik Willis does that. Now, granted, Aiden Hutchinson also does that for you. But this is a draft class with a bunch of edge rushers, as we will see. You can get an edge rusher at 32. You can get an edge rusher at 34. They might not be Aiden Hutchinson, but they could still do the job, right? This isn't a big year for quarterbacks. Malik Willis has the upside, and you don't have to start him. You have Jared Goff. I'll put it to you this way. My line of thinking is if Malik Willis is there at 32, they take him every time. I don't care what the situation is. They take him every time at 32. Here, I really think with everything that happened in the combine, especially that video. If you don't know about the video, if I was a cynic, I would have said it was staged. But I also believe that God does great things for great people. And from everything we're hearing, Malik Willis is a great person. So if you don't know about the video, literally the day of the combine, right before he went to the combine to throw and do the drills and everything, somebody saw him walking down the street, so they started filming him because that's what we do. I think it's really weird that we do that, but that's what we do. We see people that are famous and we just start filming them. And he stopped and gave some clothes to somebody in need, a homeless guy on the street. Right, he had some gear that he had gotten, and he saw this guy on the street, and he opened up his bag and gave the dude the gear. Again, just speaking to the leadership qualities, just speaking to the man that he is, speaking to the type of person that the locker room guy you're going to get. I just have a feeling that teams are going to love that, and if you're the Lions specifically, that's what you want, right? And again, this dude has superstar potential. And again, what everything that we've heard, not just in the combine, but in the Senior Bowl as well. But they says this dude is very, very, very coachable. So if you're a team that knows you have to take a guy that you need to develop, but you know he's humble, you know he's going to be a leader, you know he's going to come in and put in the work, you know that he's going to do all the things you're asking him to do, it's very enticing, especially since they have plenty of picks and they have plenty of needs on this team. They can afford to take a quarterback at 2 and still do some things in the draft. And guess what? If this dude does become the next Russell Wilson, do you think anybody's going to care that they overdrafted him at 2? No, they're not. They're going to be happy that they got the face of their franchise. And I think that's what he can be for the Lions. So again, I've seen mock drafts that have Malik Willis taken 2 way before the combine. I thought they were crazy. There's no way a quarterback is going top 5 in this draft. But after the combine, I really think Malik Willis boosted his stock. And I think a team like the Lions specifically are in a perfect position to take him. Because why not? You know what I mean? The upside is there. The upside is there. Now, there still might be questions of can he read a defense, right? Those questions you can't really answer because until he gets into the building and studies defense, you're not going to know how he picks that up. But all the other questions about his ability to work and, can he be developed? I think those questions were answered. And to be honest, if you're going to take Malik Willis, those are the questions that you want answered more than anything else. So I think it's a great fit. I really do. I know some people are going to kill me for that pick, but I really think Malik Willis could be a Lion. Do not be surprised. Again, this is the overreaction to the combine mock. Basically think about it like this. If the draft were to happen this Thursday, this is what I think might happen, right? So there you go. So back to our regular schedule program. Here we go. We're going. My mouse is a little shaky right now. Here we go. I'm going to go Aiden Hutchinson to the Texans. They have all the needs in the world. They got a lot of stuff that they can go with. I believe Aiden Hutchinson is a great pick for them. He could basically be their J.J. Watt, right? That guy who is the face of the franchise. We forget J.J. Watt was the face of the Texans even when they had Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins and all these other guys. J.J. Watt was the face. He was the leader of that locker room. I think Aiden Hutchinson does kind of the same thing for them in that aspect. So here we go. We're going to go with that. Move myself up with some. Next, I got Icky still going to the Jets. I think you have to give Zach Wilson some protection. You got to give him some weapons. I think they're going to go offense early, especially in such a deep defensive draft. You can get them your defensive help later. Get some guys that's going to protect your franchise quarterback. Help them out. With that being said, same thing with the Giants. They're going to go Charles Cross. They're still going to go Charles Cross. They're going to give Danny Dimes no excuses. All right, you needed a offensive line. We're giving you an offensive line. Charles Crawford, one of the best prospects in this draft. Still a guy that could be the number one tackle off the board. We don't know. After the combine, I don't think the rankings on the tackles have shifted that much in terms of the top three. But Charles Cross is still a guy that could go this high. I think the Giants take him. Okay, here's where it's interesting. At 6, what do the Panthers do? Again, in a trade mock, I might have them trade down because I think it's very important for them to trade down. In this scenario, we're not doing any trades. There's a couple things they could do. They can go quarterback. They can go Kyle Hamilton. I had in the other mock in the 1.5 where I had them trading down. I had them taking Kyle Hamilton. They do need a free safety, and if all the best offensive linemen are taken, or at least the offensive linemen that are worth a top 6 pick are taken, and if you can't get a trade down partner, maybe you just take the best guy on the board, which is Kyle Hamilton, a guy who does fit a need. They need a free safety. I think that could be an option, but this is what I'm going to do, honestly. If we're not going to be able to trade down, come on, if we're not going to be able to trade, why is my mouse acting like this? What are we doing? Yeah, there we go. If we're not going to be able to trade down, I think you take another guy that soared at the combine, Trevor Penning. You could go Raymond too. Again, these are their rankings. These aren't my rankings. He definitely made himself some money. Bernard Raymond, he's definitely going to be a first-round pick. He might go before Trevor Penning. He might have solidified himself as OT3, maybe even OT4. But yeah, I think Trevor Penning's a good pick here. You need some offensive line help. Again, they don't pick it into the 4th round, so if they can't trade down, they might just have to reach for a guy that's going to help them now. So that's what we're going to do. The Giants, this is I don't care, from every mock draft from here on, I'm telling you, number 7 is going to be Trayvon Walker. I texted Charles during the combine, congratulations, Trayvon Walker is a Giant. I do not see him going anywhere past the Giants at 7. I just don't see it. I honestly, depending on how the board shakes up, they might take him at 5. I'm telling you, this dude is a beast. Ran a 4.55 at the combine. Just absolutely tore up all the drills. He showed his athletic upside. He showed what he can do. He's a beast, man. He's just a beast. I think they need edge rushing help, and this is their guy. This is what they're going to do. At 8, I'm gonna have the Falcons taking Sauce Gardner here. Put him up with Terrell, with AJ Terrell. Get the back end of that defense looking better. I really like that for them. I think that's the move. I think that's the move for them. At 9, I want to go Devin Lloyd here. I really do want to go Devin Lloyd here. But you know what? I think I might go Jermaine Johnson. He's another guy that really, really had himself a combine, really helped himself in that department. And if you're Denver, they also need edge help, especially with Von Miller no longer being there. I like the fit. I just love that for them. That's something you can do. So now at 10, here's where it gets interesting. If you're the Jets, Derek Stingley is still here. Kyle Hamilton is still here. Originally, I thought of putting Garrett Wilson here. I know I had Olave last time, but Garrett Wilson had himself a draft. And again, I really think you should give Zach Wilson some weapons. I really do. It's a deep defensive draft class. You can get some defensive players later. It's a deep wide receiver class too, but I do think it's one of those weird classes where the top guys have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. But I'm not gonna lie to you. A guy like Kyle Hamilton here at 10, I don't see how you pass that up. So I'm gonna go Kyle Hamilton, replace Marcus May, who's probably gonna be gone anyway. That's what we're gonna do. For Washington, we've heard that Washington's kind of been calling about everybody's quarterback. So it sounds like they don't want a young guy. They want to go be a veteran, which makes sense. They kind of have a win now team. They feel like they are a quarterback away from really competing in that division. Ron Rivera might be on the hot seat. So I can understand why they might not want a uh, rookie quarterback. So even though this isn't, even though this is before free agency, let's just assume that they get themselves a veteran quarterback, even if it's a Jameis Winston or something like that, or Mitchell Trubisky or something like that. Let's give that quarterback another weapon. Like I said, Garrett Wilson killed it at the combine. Him and Olave both had a day, but I think Garrett Wilson cemented himself as wide receiver one after the combine. He really did kill it. So, yeah, let's do Garrett Wilson to Washington, along with, they already got McLaurin, another Ohio State wide receiver. Give them a nice little dynamic duo for their quarterback, whoever that may be. Yeah, I like that. For the Minnesota Vikings, they need corners really bad. Derek Stingley is still here. They're gonna get themselves Derek Stingley. There's nothing more to say about it. They went what they got Justin Jefferson already. They know guys at LSU that look good in the purple and gold usually play well with the purple and gold in Minnesota. He should be healthy enough to play. He should be good. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kayvon Thibodeau has fallen really, really far. And I want to take a minute to explain that. I'm going to have him go to the Browns here. Because if you're the Browns, how do you pass up on this? Him alongside Myles Garrett. Oh, my God. As a Steeler fan, that hurts my heart. But I think there's no way he slides past the Browns. But let me explain why he slid. So if you didn't see the combine, what happened was apparently during his interviews, he told a lot of teams that he was going to compete in the drills, do all the drills, do everything that he was supposed to do. But what he wound up doing was running a 40 and then leaving. And then, saying he was going to wait to the pro day to do all the drills. And he had his reasoning. He was saying the way the day shook out, was kind of long and everything else. He wanted to be able to do both edge drills and linebacker drills. So he was just going to do all his pro day. Fair enough. I think it was a bad look. And from what we heard, it was a really bad look. A lot of teams didn't feel, were confused, didn't understand why he decided not to do the drills. Again, especially since he said he was going to do the drills. And here's the thing, man. Is it fair? No, but this is the reality of how the draft works. When you come in with questions about your motor or how competitive you are or how much do you love football or anything like that, and then you pull something like this, that's not helping your case, right? And again, is it fair? No, I don't know this. I don't know this young man. I've never met him. So I'm pretty sure he's a good guy. You know what I mean? I don't root against any of these people, right? Any of these young men. They're all trying to have their dreams come true. I root for all of them. But I'm just telling you what I know from my experience talking to people in the know. That's a bad look. And a scout told me this one time. Now, granted, it's an NBA scout, but it's all the same. NBA, MLB, NFL, all the same. He told me, as a scout, we're looking for every reason not to draft you. And people don't realize that, right? We're looking for every excuse not to draft you. Because you got to think about it, this is a bet. This is a multi-million-dollar bet. They go back to these teams and they say, here's the next guy that you should invest your millions of dollars in. And if they get those bets wrong, they lose their job, right? So their job is to come and figure out why I shouldn't draft you. And if I can't think of any reason, or if the pros way outweigh the cons, I go to the team and say, draft you. So some of the issues with Kayvon Thibodeau and his questions about his motor and everything else, a stunt like this is not helping those questions. Matter of fact, it makes it look even worse, especially when you consider everybody else that performed in the combine killed it. Like I said, Trayvon Walker killed it. Jermaine Johnson killed it. Aiden Hutchinson killed it. They all killed it. And that's why you see that he went from, this was the guy that was supposed to be the number one pick in the draft coming into the season. He's down at 13. And he, what, the fourth edge rusher taken, right? So far in this mock draft. But why is that? Because he didn't show out when everybody else did, when there was already questions about his desire to be great or his desire to even play football. Now, again, I don't necessarily agree with those questions, but if you're a team that had those questions, how could you possibly say that they were answered during the combine? And again, this 2.0 is basically an overreaction Monday, right? Again, we're thinking about like this. If the draft were this Thursday, how would it shake out? And if the draft were this Thursday, I'm telling you, Kayvon Thibodeau is going to fall. You got to think about like this. If I'm comparing two people, right? And one guy has all the upside in the world and could potentially be a star, but there's a lot of questions about him. Then there's another guy who also has really good potential. Maybe not the potential this guy has, but really, really, really good potential. And there's less questions about him. And then he blows me away at the combine. Most teams are going to side with this guy over this one, because you could have all the potential in the world, but if we're questioning whether you'll ever meet that potential, that's not a good enough reason to draft you. Again, like I said, so far, this is a tale of two prospects. Malik Willis, who I think answered a lot of questions about who he is as a person, and therefore might see his stock go up. And a guy in Kayvon Thibodeau, who I think added more questions about his character and therefore is probably going to slide, even though one guy has all the upside in the world and should be a top 3 pick at worst. And the other guy, honestly, probably should not be in the first round. But that's just how that works. And again, this is why we're doing this exercise, so you can see the ebbs and flows. And the last thing I will also say is he ran a 40, but the 40 was okay. He ran like a 4.65 or something like that, which is all right. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. So it's not like he went and ran like a 4.5 flat and was like, yeah, y'all know who I am. This was just a taste of what you'll see at the pro day. Come see me in Oregon in a couple weeks. No, he ran a 4.65 in a combine where records were being shattered across the board. Like I said, Trayvon Walker, who's just as big as him, ran a 4.55. Jordan Davis, who's a defensive tackle, who's freaking almost 100 pounds heavier than him, ran a 4.78. So when you just run a 4.65, again, that's not a terrible number, but it's not great either. It's not blowing anybody's mind. It's not something that you're writing headlines about. You do that and then you leave. When again, you told people you were going to compete in the drills and you did, and you don't. I'm telling you, that's going to hurt his stock. Now, granted, again, this is just a 2.0, right? And I'm rooting for this kid. I hope he kills it at his pro day. I hope he runs even faster. I hope he does all the drills. I hope he kills all the drills and reestablishes himself as a top 5 pick. But as of right now, I can't put him there. I really can't. After what we saw in the combine, once again, not only did he not compete, but everybody else not only competed, but killed it. Absolutely killed it. I can really see him sliding. Now, again, if you're the Browns, why would you not take him? And that's another thing he said. He compared himself to Jadeveon Clowney. And it's like, bro, read the room, dude. That's like the worst person you could compare yourself to. Even though he's right. They're very similar and in who they are as players, right? They had all the upside in the world. For those of y'all who don't know or don't remember, Jadeveon Clowney was the number 1 pick in the 2014 draft to the Texans. Had all the potential in the world. There were some questions about his character, his motor, how much he loved football, right? Going into the draft. But unlike this draft, when he came out, he was still head and shoulders above everybody else in talent and potential. So he still went number 1. And he's had a good career, but he hasn't been the first ballot Hall of Famer that we thought he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a generational talent. Matter of fact, he was on the Browns last year. I don't think they're going to keep him. So whoever picks him up, this will be his sixth team, fifth team, right? Texans, Titans, Seattle, Cleveland. Okay, it'll be his fifth team in 8 years for a guy that was the number one pick in the draft. And so, especially when you have that history of a Jadeveon Clowney, and then you see a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau, and they remind you so much of each other. And then again, he says, "Oh yeah, I think I'm like Jadeveon Clowney." It's like, dude, read the room, bro. Read the room. That is probably the worst person you could have possibly said with everything that's being said about you. So again, I'm hoping, because I root for all these guys. I don't know any of these young men at all. I have no, skin in the game per se. I want them all to do well. I'm hoping, and I think he will kill it at his pro day and fix his draft stock. But right now, there's no way I can say for certain that he's in a great place in terms of his draft stock. I really think he fell. I really think he did. That's just me. But moving on. So the 13 to the Browns. I think if you're the Browns, you still got to take a chance on that upside. With him across from Myles Garrett, that could be a very scary combination. And you're hoping the fact that he fell, maybe that lights a fire under him, right? If he were to go top 3, maybe that changes how his mindset is. If he falls to 13 and he costs himself millions of dollars, maybe that relights a fire under him to be the guy that he was supposed to be. Remember, this was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school. So I think he slides no further. If not Cleveland, Baltimore is definitely going to take him. And listen, as a Steelers fan, I can't do that. My heart would not take it. I can't do it. I'm gonna have him go to Cleveland. That still scares me, because that's, like I said, that's a very scary combination, him and Myles Garrett. But still, I'd rather that than Baltimore. So what should Baltimore do? They got some options. They could go David Ojabo, which would also just hurt my heart. And that's a guy I think they would really like. I honestly think they should go receiver. I like their receiving core is still not that great. And Lamar Jackson's trying to get paid. So I think if you're Lamar Jackson, you definitely want some more receivers. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go with the other guy who absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it at the combine. That's Jordan Davis. He was probably the best prospect coming out of the combine. He's the one that blew everybody's mind the most. Again, as a Steelers fan, it is killing me to mock this, but that's a guy that I think the Ravens are going to eat up. They're going to love to have him in their building. And there you go. That's what it is. The Eagles, they have 2 picks back to back. This is the first one. Let me see what the big board's looking like. David Ajabo's not bad here. David Ajabo's not bad. Tyler Linderbaum's not bad. Drake London's not bad. Yeah, you know what? Let's do David Ajabo. They need some edge help. He's a freak athlete. He had another great combine. Let's do it, David Ajabo. And here they could go Trent McDuffie. He was another guy who had a pretty good combine. Andrew Booth didn't do drills. He had an injury, but Trent McDuffie, not a bad shout here. But let's see what else we can do. I think they go Drake London here, get themselves a nice tall receiver to complement Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. Now, some people think that they want more of a burner, so they might go Jameson Williams here, but I think that's too rich. At 16, I think Jameson Williams is more like a pick 19 guy. So you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go Trent McDuffie. Let's go Trent McDuffie here. Okay, if you are the Chargers, you're probably crying right now because Jordan Davis would have been a godsend to you at 17. They desperately need to be able to stop the run. They have a decent amount of needs here. They could use some edge help. A lot of edge rushers are off the board right now. George Karlaftis maybe. Devontae Wyatt, he had a very, very, very good combine as well. As much hype as Jordan Davis got, we forget Devontae Wyatt's numbers across the board were better. But Jordan Davis, because of his size, was just ridiculous. The fact that he was there in terms of the numbers. But Devontae Wyatt ran a faster 40, and I think he just beat out Jordan Davis in a couple other drills. So yeah, let's do that. Again, they need to stop the run. They need to get better in the trenches. Let's do that for them. Devontae Wyatt. All right. The Saints. Again, could go a number of different ways here. I think Kenny Pickett makes a lot of sense. They might not be able to keep Jameis Winston. They need a quarterback. They need somebody behind center. And again, their cap is the worst situation is the worst in the NFL. So they might have to look to the draft. And Kenny Pickett is a guy who, again, he played really well at the combine. The hands did come in at 8.5 inches, which is really bad. But if you're the Saints, you're playing in a dome, right? So that that helps. That helps with the figuring out if he can play at the next level. If half his games are at home in the dome, the hand size might not be as big of a deal. So let's go Kenny Pickett here. I like that. Kenny Pickett. All right. And now the Eagles. We got edge help. We got corner help. I really think they need some wide receivers. I would have gone Treylon Burks, but he kind of had a combine. He didn't test the way a lot of people thought he would test. And I guess I'm gonna go with the people that know the Eagles better than I do. I think they should get a big, tall wide receiver, but everybody's saying no. Jalen Hurts is at his best when he's throwing down the field. So if that's the case, get a burner. Get a guy that's going to be a deep threat. There you go. Steelers. Again, this is before free agency, so I have no idea. The Steelers are one of those weird teams. Depending on what they do in free agency, will totally determine what they do in the draft here. Assuming they don't get enough help on the offensive line, they're going to need some offensive linemen. And even though Kenyon Green had a not so great combine, I think Zion Johnson definitely established himself as the second best interior lineman besides Tyler Linderbaum. I'm going to take Kenyon Green here only because he played with Dan Moore, who's our right tackle. So they already have that chemistry. They already have that fit and that familiarity with each other. And it's not like, and to me, I don't think Kenyon Green was terrible at the combine. He just didn't test the way we thought he would. So I'm going to go with Kenyon Green there at 20. Okay. Let's go back to the big board. Let's see. Oh, actually, no, I know exactly who I'm taking for Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd to the Patriots makes all the sense in the world. Make all the sense in the world. Matter of fact, that's probably a guy I should have mocked to the Eagles. Sorry, but whatever. Okay. The Raiders don't get their burner because Jameson Williams is already gone. I think what they might want to do here is either Tyler Linderbaum or Zion Johnson to makes a lot of sense here. Again, another guy that tested really, really well at the combine. Could be a really big help for them. Let's see who else is here. Chris Olave is not a bad shout either. Yeah, let's go. Let's go Zion. Let's do it. Fix that offensive line. If they keep Derek Carr, he's gonna want his O line at his best. All right. So now George Karlaftis to the Cardinals, not a bad shout. They need some edge help. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. The Cowboys. Perrion Winfrey had a pretty good combine too. I really liked his game. I really liked his game. Part of me wants to give them Chris Olave because it sounds like they're about to cut Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup is already a free agent they might not take back. They might have to recoup the wide receiver position, which is crazy to think, right? They had the best, the best little trio in the game. Now, two of those guys might be gone. Huh. That's very interesting, actually, when I think about it. They might have to go wide receiver. They might have to go wide receiver. What are the edges looking like right now? Nah, yeah, see the edge, yeah, right now the value's not there at edge. The value's not there at edge. They do need a safety, and I'll tell you this. Daxton Hill put on a fucking show. It's part of my language. But he put on the show as well. The safety class is legit. So let's go Daxton Hill. Okay. Here. Oh, Andrew Booth is still here, and they could use a corner. So let's go ahead and give them that. Oh, here we go. Where is he? N'Kobe Dean. Yep, I love it. Love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Now here's a question. If you are Tampa, do you take a quarterback here? If Brady's really retired, I don't think they believe in Kyle Trask yet. The problem is these quarterbacks. I don't think Desmond Ritter could step in. I think he should. I think he had a pretty good combine. He could be a guy that could play right away. You're gonna have to be patient with him, but I think he could play right away. That's interesting. The value here, first of all, the fact Tyler Linderbaum's still on the board is insane. There's a lot of good receivers still on the board, actually. A lot of good receivers. Oh, yeah, let's go Matt Corral, actually. Let's go Matt Corral. Wow. I've never really thought about Tampa Bay like that, but their quarterback situation's in flux too. I don't know why we haven't talked about them like that. Okay. The G-Man. I'm sorry, not the G-Man. The Packers. It all depends on what the heck Aaron Rodgers is talking about, right? That changes everything in terms of what they want to do. But you know what? Let's say he stays. They're gonna still want a guy to help out Devontae Adams. And I think Treylon Burks, they saw what Deebo Samuel did to them in the playoffs. They might try to use him in the same way. So that's where we're gonna go here. I kind of really like Chris Olave too. Yeah, I actually really like Chris Olave to the Dolphins. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so now Kansas City. They're interesting because they kind of, well, Tyrann Mathieu might be gone. It sounds like he's going to be gone. Again, everybody, if you went to Georgia, you made yourself some money. I think that's where they might go here. Let's do that. And Tyler Linderbaum, your wait is over, son. I appreciate your patience. You're going to the Bengals. Again, that's a pick that's hurting my heart here, but you're going to the Bengals. And then here we go. Look at that. Drake London going to the Lions, man. I like it. So here we go. The biggest probably shocks right now is Malik Willis going as high as 2. And obviously Kayvon Thibodeau falling all the way to 13. The rest of the picks are kind of, par for the course. You know what I mean, in terms of what we're looking at. But again, this is how the combine works. Like I said, this is a tale of two guys. One guy that did everything to sabotage his own stock, and another guy that did everything to help his stock. If you're a Georgia Bulldog, you shall be rewarded because you balled out at the combine. Trayvon Walker, I think, really established himself as edge rusher too. I really think he did. I think most teams, if they had to pick right now, are going to take Trayvon Walker over Kayvon Thibodeau because there's less questions. And the leadership popped on the screen and everything else. So, it is what it is. So here it is. Here's the picks. We're gonna save them. This is the 2.0 right after, literally hours after the combine. This is what I think is gonna happen here. All right. And we'll do our 2.5 next week with trades. Let's see if we get some value for some of these guys. Maybe we have the Lions trade down or something like that. All right. Well, appreciate you guys. You can find me at Never Forget Me. That's NEVA_4 BRETT_ME on Instagram, on Twitter. Please follow us at _dope blog on Instagram, the dope blog on Twitter. The dope.blog is our website. If you're watching this on YouTube, which of course you're watching this on YouTube because our mock drafts are exclusively on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. And join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces.